It's Lori again, and welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. If you've not been here before, welcome for the first time. Glad to have you, and hope you'll take a look around. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the videos you like a thumbs up, and comment on what you're reading and what you thought about what I have read as well. Today is brought to you by my coffee cup from New York from the Fat Witch Bakery, which is one of my favorites, and I had kind of gotten it at the back of the cabinet. Love this cup. The best witches are from New York, I'm told. But the Fat Witch Bakery, if you've never been, is a wonderful place, and this is one of my favorite cups. It's like a restaurant cup, you know? It's just the right weight. It's just the right size. I don't know. It's wonderful. Okay, so today's video is a BookTube tag. Now, I have done just one tag so far since I've come to BookTube, but this one is all about my BookTube channel, essentially. And I wasn't tagged by anyone in particular, but I did look at the original creator, and the tag was really made for any BookTuber that wanted to engage in it. And so I'm kind of really interested in telling you more about me, learning more about you, and then this way you'll be able to figure out if this is a place where you feel welcomed and appreciated, and where you're able to share your comments and feelings and excitement about a particular book. So let's get started. So the first tag question is, how do you decide what to read on your channel? So that has somewhat evolved in the little bit of time. I started really purposefully posting videos for the BookTube portion of my YouTube channel in December. And at that time, I did have a desire to read a lot of new books that I was acquiring and that were on my to-be-read list. Because I watch a lot of BookTube, I am familiar with a lot of newer releases when people read them, but I'm also getting familiar with things that I have never heard of before. And I have a shelf of things that I've either not read, or shelves of things, this is just part of the shelves, or that I really want to reread. So now I am thinking ahead a bit about the year. So I did set some reading goals for myself for the year, and I set a top 9 in 2019. So those are definitely already decided. I decided some genres that I wanted to either explore more fully this year or return to that were favorites. So for example, mysteries and thrillers are a favorite genre of mine. I haven't been reading as many mysteries in the last few years as I wanted to, and fantasy and sci-fi has taken a huge backseat for me. I maybe have read one a year in the last couple of years. So I set some goals for myself at the beginning of the year. And then thirdly, I just like to read what really sparks my interest. So if something pops into my purview, I'm going to just pick it up, because I'm kind of an eclectic spirit in many, many ways in my life. Second question, let's talk about prep. Do you ride by the seat of your pants, or are you more of an organized person when it comes to filming your BookTube videos? I'm still riding by the seat of my pants. There's no question. I'm getting a little bit better because I'm filming multiple videos at one time now, where I didn't before. I am trying to schedule them ahead. I'm learning, but I'm still pretty much, and I do some pre-planning. I come up with some ideas of some things I want to do, which recently I've come up with a new series that won't post until tomorrow, but you will not see this until after tomorrow. So the new one is Throwback Thursday, where I take a look again at something that I've already read. But I have a couple of ideas now, so I'm planning ahead a little bit more. But at the beginning, I fly by the seat of my pants. And honestly, I don't do a lot of prep. I sometimes film in my office because it's easier and I'm there. I work for myself. I work from home. It's convenient. I just click record and I'm on. But I do have a plan ahead of what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I record in here. The lighting isn't great, so this is a transition for me. We are transitioning from this house to another house, hopefully very soon. So that will change because the other house has a different lighting than this room does, the other place where my books will go and live. Uh, so I think I will plan more as I go along, and I already kind of am more intentional, but I'm still kind of a seat of my pants girl for sure. 3, what inspired you to start your channel? A few years ago, my friend Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand, you've probably heard me talk about her a lot. I had been watching her as a memory keeper because I do a bit of that myself. And when I created this channel, I really thought I would be doing memory keeping process videos predominantly, a few book reviews now and again. But I saw Sarah's channel and she talked about BookTube, and I had no idea what BookTube was. And so I have been consuming it for a long time and wishing to do this from afar, but not. I was a bit afraid. In fact, I have my Be Afraid, Do It Anyway shirt on today, so that's fitting, my Carrie Fisher homage. I definitely was not feeling like I could do this. I didn't have the technical knowledge. So Sarah Swan from Sarah's Nightstand inspired me to start a channel. Victoria Calvin inspired me to learn YouTube, and I actually took a class from Victoria Marie Designs in order to figure out how to handle the filming and the editing and all of that, and that was really very helpful to me. So I needed a little bit more knowledge about how to post videos, and I definitely got inspired not only by Sarah, but then after that by a number of people that I follow on BookTube all the time. Okay, walk us through your film session. So I have to have a topic first. I don't just get on and chat about books yet, at least. I definitely take some notes about what I want to talk about. I gather the books if I have physical copies of them. If I do not, I gather images of them. I have a preset intro and an end title card, so I do have to pop in a thumbnail and then generally I'll pop in the books at the end so that people can see them as they're writing notes maybe at the end of the video. Again, if I'm at my desk, it's slightly easier. I just have to move some furniture, one chair around in here. It's not a lot of work to be in here. I kind of need to make sure my dogs are off into the other space of the house. If I film more than one, I will generally change my shirt. I do sometimes intentionally pick a cup of or a coffee mug, but generally I just make sure I have coffee or tea in the event that I need that for my throat. And I try to film on bright sunny days, but if I'm really in need of pushing a video out, I don't always get that blessing. So today is a beautiful sunny day, but of course the lighting is behind me. I have kind of a Game of Thrones light in this library, which I love, but it's not the best. So my office is brighter and a whiter light, and I have a couple of extra lights around that kind of help balance that light, but I do have to adjust sometimes the curtains. Sometimes it's too bright, too sunny, sun's right on me. And then I definitely have learned the power of editing. Definitely don't always do that well, but it's a good thing to be able to do it. Okay, see, I really need that coffee today. What's your favorite BookTube video style? Hauls, TBRs, wrap-ups. Yeah, TBRs and wrap-ups probably, because that's what I like to watch the most. I have done a couple of hauls. I'm actually on a low buy this month, and I may be on a low buy for a couple of months because I don't want to pack and move a bunch more books, and I'm running out of space in my shelves. We packed a few up, and that's ridiculous because I mean, really, we didn't pack very many up, but we had a box and we needed to fill it, so we put some books in there. But yeah, so I'm on a low buy right now, but I feel like I do love hauls. I do love reviews, wrap-ups and reviews. Maybe not. I love doing wrap-ups and reviews. I'm not sure if people really love those as much. But definitely TBRs. I love readathons. Suddenly readathons have become one of my favorite things because I can really be intentional about the reading that I'm doing. And so I like that, and it pushes me to finish my goal. I should also say what inspired me to start my YouTube channel was I really wanted to read more. I was a much more voracious reader when I was younger, and then I had kids and I didn't read as much, and then I went through a phase where I read a lot because I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I went back to college, and then I didn't read it unless it was college related. And so my reading life has really ebbed and flowed over the years. And so I've in recent past been gaining a little bit of traction in that regard every year. And this year I feel like I'm maybe on target to double my reading goal for 2019, which would delight me. But this helps me to be more intentional. So readathons also do that. I really push myself to try to read as much as I can in a month. And so I would say those are my favorites to watch and to produce, if you consider this a production. If you had your way, what would you like to see more of on BookTube? I would like to see more of a diverse, and maybe it's me, maybe it's what I'm not quite there yet. I like a very eclectic and diverse group of people to follow and watch. And I really like a lot of, when I find them, I like BookTube channels that deal with other kinds of genres, particularly classic literature, literary fiction, and poetry. And I also like nonfiction, and I read a good bit of nonfiction self-help. So I kind of like to see, I do see a lot of contemporary and a lot of fantasy and a lot of, top of the list kinds of, and by list, I mean, New York Times bestseller list, or, those kinds of things. I see a lot of popular reads, but I also like to see those kind of, dark horse reads that people don't know as much and that maybe I wouldn't have seen had I not been on BookTube. Books and Lala is really good at that. Books like Woe is really one that I love for that reason. So I do like a diverse channel, somebody who reads a diverse amount of genres, because I do too. Number 7, when reading, do you take notes, and how? Yes, I do. So in nonfiction books, self-help kinds of books, I typically take notes in the margins or underline passages. In novels, I will sometimes take notes on Post-its, or I will put Post-its in and insert them, or I will put a mark somewhere where there's a quote that I particularly like. I do take a note. I have a book journal that my daughter got me for Christmas. I do take notes in there about things. There's a whole, of course, wrap up of kind of how you liked it and what were your favorite quotes and your favorite characters and what was the plot and those kinds of things, which is good for me because sometimes I will forget about reading a book years later. Oh, did I read that? Did I not read that? But not the ones that I really give 4 and 5 stars to typically. But there's an extra space for notes there too. I also have a book journal that I created and downloaded from Anne Bogle from What Should I Read Next podcast. And so there's a lot of area for notes there. So I'll take notes in those particular areas. And then sometimes I will write in an actual book. I know. Okay. Where would you like to see your channel at this time next year? My first goal is really to get 1,000 subscribers, and I'm at a little over 200 now. I'm pushing up to 250. So I'd love it if you would share and I could get more subscribers that way. But I don't have a great desire to monetize my BookTube channel. That was not my intention in creating it, but I would like to have a good number of followers, because I think that it gives me a good number of opinions and of support and comments, and do a video about this and do a video about that, because I do have a fear that eventually I'll run out of topics to talk about. And I do want to be somewhat innovative and to talk about things that other people maybe aren't talking about. So I would like to be innovative. I would like to be diverse in what I'm reading. I would like to be reading a lot more than I've been able to read prior to starting this channel, and I would like to have a year from now 1,000 or more subscribers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Share your best BookTube memory. Oh goodness. Um, The first video I posted and finished, I felt very scared about, and I probably don't want to watch it again in a year from now, but it felt really, really good. And it was right around New Year's Eve, so it felt like a new beginning. That's one of my favorite times of the year. So that was a good memory. Um, Another good memory for me was the support I received. I tagged Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, and she shouted me out, and I got a good number of subscribers from her channel and her support of my channel. And so that is also a favorite memory of mine. And maybe the first time I got a comment, from somebody. It's everything is so neat about this. I'm just delighted. Just delighted, seriously. And the final number 10 question is, why BookTube? So again, it's been on my mind for a while. I have been enjoying being a consumer of BookTube, and so at some point I did feel like I wanted to jump in the pool and be a producer of BookTube videos. So I do have a personality that I'm learning much more about myself all the time, every year. But I do know now from some new exploration of my being that I do like to connect in community with people. And I'm very specific about what that community is, and this community to me is a good one. The other reason is that I picked for this year my one little word. If you don't know what that is, you can look at allieedwards.com. I'll link it below. But every year I pick a word to kind of flow with me through the year and to embody that word in a lot of what I'm doing and ways of being. And my one little word this year is enliven. And I felt like, I wasn't sure, it's kind of like you read a book you think is going to be a 5-star read and you're not certain. I felt like this would enliven me. And it does. And so, but that's what really made me start, is at the end of last year, I thought about what I hadn't done last year that I wanted to do, or that I was really longing to do, and what I wanted to do about it in 2019. And this was one of those things. And so I had already signed up for the class. I knew I was going to get some instruction and on how to do this. And so I really then did just jump into the deep end of the pool. But ultimately, I thought it would enliven me, and it does. So I guess it's a 5-star for if you measure it against my one little word for the year. So if you haven't been tagged by anyone and you want to do this BookTube tag, I would encourage you to do that. I think it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to tag someone else that I watch a lot of videos that she produces, and that's Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library. I don't know Lindsay personally, but we now comment and we know each other virtually, and I really love her channel, and we read a lot of the same things, and I'm curious about what made Lindsay start her BookTube channel as well, although I think I have an idea, and some of the ways that she prepares and processes her videos. I think it'd be fun. So Lindsay, you're officially tagged by me, and any of the rest of you who would like to be tagged, feel free to consider this your tag invitation to create this. If you're thinking about starting a BookTube channel, I say do it. Don't be afraid. Be afraid, do it anyway, right? But it's really a very welcoming community, a very supportive community. I know there are some virtual communities out there that I hear are not as easy to be a part of, but this one has certainly, in the bit of time that I've been involved, not disappointed me at all. So I would say go for it. Let me know if you do. I'll subscribe, I'll like, I'll comment, I'll support you in any way that I can, including tagging you if that would be helpful to you. And as always, thanks for joining me, and happy reading. Bye-bye.